Hi, 5th and 6th graders. Today we're going to start talking about Lesson 6. How does the moon seem to change shapes? All right, so you need Lesson 6 today. And as we start looking at the moon, this is our phenomenon. The moon looks different on different days. Okay, we know that. We've seen that. We've seen it in the night sky, how it seems to change its appearance. Sometimes we can see the full moon. Sometimes we can't see the moon at all. Sometimes there's only a crescent, a little fingernail in the sky. So knowing that the moon changes, it changes shapes, or not, it changes. It appears to change. Think about what you know. And as a scientist, write down a question or two that you have in our thinking box before we start the lesson. So go ahead and pause this video, write down a question or two that you have as a scientist, and then we're going to keep going. Today, our investigation, we're going to look at some moon phases, moon rises and moon sets. And well, what? I've never heard of a moon rise and a moon set. A moon rise is when the moon appears to rise, and a moon set is when a moon appears to set, just as we talk about sunrises and sunsets. I'm going to link a video that you guys can watch. You could pause this and go watch that video if you would like. And it's pretty cool looking at the moon and how it appears to move across the sky. But I'm going to take you on a little investigation today. I have a website. You guys can go to the website if you want. It's called phasesmoon.com. Or if you go to Google and you type moon phases today, moon phase today or whatever, you can see the phases of the moon, which phases of the moon is today. So if we were in class, we would all be splitting up and all taking different parts of the moon, different phases of the moon, and researching them. So let's just look at one phase, the first quarter. This is the first quarter. That's what the first quarter moon phase looks like. And I've actually already gone back and found the last 3 cycles on our phasesmoon.com. So if we were going to look at a phase, go ahead and write in first quarter. Okay, and we're going to draw it. It's a little bit curved. All right, and we're going to shade in the left side of the moon. Make sure you're shading in the left side of the moon and not the right side of the moon. If you shade in the right side of the moon, it's actually the third quarter, not the first quarter. All right, so we're going to look at the 3 cycles, the moon rise and the moon set. So I went back and 3 first quarters ago was actually February 2nd. And on February 2nd, we had a first quarter moon. The moon rose, the moon rose at 11:42 a.m. Isn't that crazy? It actually did, right around lunchtime. The moon, weird, right around lunchtime the moon rose. So moon rise, go ahead and write in cycle 1, 11:42 a.m. and it set at 12:04 a.m. And so it even says on here the length of time it lasted 12 hours and 22 minutes. The moon was in our sky. Pretty cool. The next time we got a first quarter, it takes about 28 days to go through all the phases of the moon. So thinking about that, what's 28 days after February 2nd? Remember, February only has 28 days. It actually is March 2nd. So I'm going to switch this to March 2nd. And there's our next first quarter, and look, there it is. Beautiful, beautiful moon. All right, so this first quarter that happened on March 2nd, the moonrise happened at 10:55 a.m. and set at 12 a.m. So even earlier in the morning, we were just getting done, about to get done with recess. 10:55 a.m. and it set at midnight. Wow. The next time after March 2nd that we got another first quarter moon was April 1st. So I gotta go change this to April 1st. And I hope that you guys can check out this website and do a little investigating about the moon phases, because I think it's pretty cool. All right, so on April 1st, the moon rose at 11:15 a.m. and set at 12:22 a.m. All right, so go ahead and write that in. It rose at 11:15 a.m. and set at 12:22 a.m. All right, pause this video if you need to. Make sure that you have your data for first quarter. And then we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of data about all of our moon rises and moon sets for the 4 phases of the moon that we're going to go over in our lesson. All right, so I went ahead and I already wrote down some dates. I went and did some little research, but we are gonna make a graph for the moon rise times and the moon set times. All right, so let's pay very close attention here. We're gonna do a lot of graphing. All right, you can pause the video anytime you want, but we're gonna start all the way back at February 2nd. So I'm gonna go back to February 2nd. All right, so the first quarter on February 2nd, the moon rise was at 11:42 a.m. So 11:42 a.m. is going to be right about there. And then go ahead and color that in. Shade it. So you're going to shade, I'm not going to shade it all. You're going to shade it on your paper though. Okay, shade in the bar graph. We're not going to do any fun things on the graph unless you would like to. Okay, and then the moon set time was 12:04 a.m., which is just about midnight. So on the moon set times, first quarter, we're going to do right about midnight. And then you're going to shade this all in. All right. All right, so I'm not going to shade, but I want you guys to shade yours in, okay? All right, so that's February 2nd. Let's go ahead. So we marked about 11:40, and then we marked midnight on the set time. Okay, so the next phase that we're going to look at happened on February 9th. February 9th, we had a full moon. All right, the rise and set time. So the moon rose. Look at, it's very different, isn't it? Moon rose at 5:58 p.m. and set at 6:38 a.m. How funny is that? All right, so just about 6 p.m. Okay, so 6 p.m. Okay, make sure you fill that one in. It rose, and it set at 6:40 a.m. So over on 6:40 a.m. is almost 7. Okay, don't forget to shade that in for you guys. Okay, so moon rise, 6 p.m. Moon set, 6:40 a.m. All right, you can pause this video anytime, remember? All right, the next cycle we're gonna look at is February 16th. February 16th. Oh no, of course my internet went out. There we go. We had a last quarter or a third quarter. Okay, looks a little different. The other side from the one we studied is shaded in, is shadowed. The moon rose at 12:20 and set at 11:40 a.m. How interesting. All right, so if the last quarter, it rose at 12:20 a.m. right past midnight. Okay, shade that in. And it's set at 11:40. 11:40. Right. 11:40. Okay. Shade that guy in. It's very interesting, huh, how it's jumping around like this. All right, next, February 23rd. On February 23rd, we had a new moon. That's when it doesn't even appear in the night sky. The moon rose at 6:20 a.m. and set at 5:45 p.m. It rose at 6:20 a.m. So that's all the way up here, 6:20 a.m. Okay, and it's set at 5:45 p.m. 5:45. p.m. All right, we're going to look at March 2nd. March 2nd, we had a first quarter, and it rose at 10:55, so just about 11 a.m. and set at midnight. 11 a.m. Nice and short one. And it's set at midnight. I think we're going to start seeing the pattern pretty quick here. Set at midnight. Okay, phase on the 9th. I bet you guys can see the pattern. It's going to be a full moon. The full moon rose at 5:48 p.m. and set at 6 a.m. The moon rose at 5:48. And it's set at 6 a.m. Do you guys see a pattern? You're doing great. All right, the next one happened on March 16th. We had a internet problem. The last quarter. Come on, internet. Come on, internet. Oh, here it comes. Okay, there we go. March 16th. Oops, not 18th, March 16th. Wow. There we go. We had a last quarter. Okay, the last quarter, it rose at 12:15 and set at 11:12. Okay, rose at 12:15, so right after midnight. Do you see a pattern? And set at 11:12 a.m. I bet you guys can guess when the new moon happened. On the 24th of March. On the 24th of March, we had a new moon. It was gone. It rose at 6 a.m. It set at 6 p.m. Close enough. We're going to round. So, it rose at 6 a.m. and set at 6 p.m. Do you notice how every 4 this is happening? See how it's the pattern? Then April 1st. April 1st, we had a first quarter. It rose right after 11 and set right after midnight. First quarter. Right after 11, it rose. And right after midnight, it set. On the 8th, we had a full moon. It rose at 6:45 p.m. and set at almost 6 a.m. Full moon, it rose at 6:45. Sorry, my eyes are tricking me right now. Here we go. 6:45. And it set at about 6 a.m. I bet you guys could have guessed that based on the pattern. Okay, we're almost done. April 15th. On April 15th, we had a last quarter. The last quarter, it rose at 12:54, so just about 1 a.m. and set at 11:47 a.m. Okay, the last quarter, it rose at about 1 a.m. and set just before lunch. 11:47. Now, we are about to have a new moon. Okay, so if we go to the calendar, today is the 23rd. Okay, we are going to have a new moon it's the 22nd. Tomorrow is our new moon. So tomorrow, why don't we check in, and I'll post a little video that has our data for the moon, for the new moon. All right? So, if you finish this for today, this is our investigation. We charted our times. Okay, you can pause the video if you need to. Charting our times based on these cycles of the moon. And we're going to read about it in this lesson. All right? So, you have vocabulary, and then you have some different sections. You have today and tomorrow. We're going to read, draw a label, and draw and label our diagram of the Earth in orbit around the sun and the moon orbiting around Earth. Okay, we're going to talk about patterns in this lesson. As you read, you're going to find out some more about moon phases. We're talking about those 4 new moon and first quarter and third quarter or last quarter and full moon the most. but you're going to learn about some other phases. When you get, if you're watching this and you watched all this, here's a good thing for you. When you get to this page, if you do these, I will give you extra points, okay? These ones right here. Okay, because you're going to make some predictions based on data charts. All right, so if you don't want to do these last two, that's fine. But if you do, I'll give you some extra points. All right? All right, give me a call if you guys get stuck, and then we'll check in tomorrow for the 23rd new moon data.